Blog Talk Radio.
Could the biggest science project ever lead to the end of the world?
The massive gas line ruptures, could it happen in your neighborhood?
How many sex offenders live in your neighborhood?
Are there terrorist cells in your neighborhood?
Marijuana, could it be in your neighborhood?
Are your kids being brainwashed? I'll tell you who's taking cues from the Nazis.
A town in California is insisting that every second grader learns about gay penguins.
Social engineering of America's children.
We'll have global governance run by elites.
We'll have our own little China workforce right here in America.
Doomsday 2000.
Killer bees. Bird flu.
The terror threat.
The superbug.
Global pandemic.
Illegal aliens.
Gun restrictions.
Right-wing terrorism.
Evangelical Christianity.
Gay marriage. Death panel. The flip-flop.
Indoctrination.
Militias.
Anarchy, chaos, and cannibalism.
Gosh, we better wake up soon. Or we're gonna wake up dead.
Hi, this is Tatiana Moroz, and you're listening to Journalistic Revolution.
Or we're gonna wake up dead. That gets me every time. Well, welcome back to the Journalistic Revolution, everybody. I'm Robert Osman.
And I'm your ever-excited host, Matthew Dalton.
And today we're going to be discussing, of course, the latest Peace News Now update. We're going to be talking about a terrorist drill or a mass casualty drill that will be taking place Monday. A 12-year-old kid confronts cops breaking the law. That's the next generation. And then Charles Ramsey, of course, the hero. I want to bring up just a little point about him. It may be a silly point, but I think that some of you may agree. We're also going to do a new segment called "Whoops, Wrong Meeting," in discussing the CNN parking lot scandal, and then of course the Benghazi hearings. And
for those who are new, this is a brand new segment, Whoops, Wrong Meeting, and this is basically going to be pointing out, other news organizations or somebody else doing stupid things. So we should have CNN. Blatantly. Okay, yeah. So CNN should probably be a normal focal point for this segment.
them and Fox.
That out.
Them and MSNBC. Yeah. And I could go on. But anyways. Also, we're going to be discussing a support event to complement Adam Kokesh's Armed March. If you disagree or agree with it, I believe it's something that you can get behind. And then, of course, we're going to be discussing what the D.C. police chief had to say about the event today. So, and then we'll be taking calls throughout and through the entire show.
And not to forget that we will be talking about, for at least one segment, the Benghazi hearings today.
Yeah, I said that.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. But anyway. So
don't make me pull the playback up later on.
Oh, we will. And so let's go ahead and get started with the Peace News Now update from our friend Derek J. And always, you can check out our interview with Derek J. at the Journalistic Revolution YouTube page.
This is Peace News Now. Today is May 7th, 2013. Silver is trading at $24 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $102 per Bitcoin. Closing Guantanamo has been a challenge for the last 10 years. It's become especially difficult since Obama fired the only person in charge of closing the torture camp. Finally, someone is using his political power to impact some influence on the camp's activities. So far, soldiers have used violence, humiliation, and torture to subjugate and dehumanize the prisoners, about 100 of whom have been, quote, cleared for release from both the Bush administration in 2007 and the Obama administration in 2009. Words are different from actions, however, and the innocent men remain captive in the world's most secretive prison. Last week, one of the lawyers representing the men committed suicide. Over approximately 80% of the prisoners are in their third month of starving themselves to draw attention to the abuses taking place at the camp. In response, the U.S. military has ordered the strikers to be strapped to chairs twice per day and have soldiers force-feeding tubes through their noses, while at night they're treated to disruptive lights and endless radio static. The prison and the activities inside are a clear violation of international law and human rights. The UN is the body which is supposed to keep a check on violators, but its enforcement arm, the U.S. military, is the very organization which is committing the abuse. Now, hope comes. On Thursday of last week, the president of the American Medical Association sent a letter to the U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel, informing him that it is a violation of medical ethics to force-feed mentally competent adults who refuse food and life-saving treatment. The military is using Navy doctors to administer the feedings. They have sworn concurrent oaths to uphold the Constitution and the ethical code of doctors, which now conflict. They cannot obey both. While Lazarus pleads to their commanders to not give orders which put the doctors at odds with the ethical standards of their profession, he would be better off pleading to the doctors themselves. Instead of trying to communicate rationally with a man who commands his men to torture, Lazarus would be better off threatening to permanently strip any Navy doctor of his license to practice medicine if he violates ethical code. Then it would be an easy choice for these doctors to decide. Why did they join the Navy? For adventurism? Maybe. Most likely, however, they wanted to become doctors, and they enlisted on the promise that they would become a doctor in exchange for joining. These doctors currently obey their commanders' unethical orders because they are afraid they will lose their futures as doctors. When the Navy doctors are faced with the decision to lose one, either their status as a soldier or their license to practice medicine, they will no longer be compelled to follow the unethical orders of their masters. Are you tired of the U.S. government torturing people around the world? Are you tired of having to pay for their murderous rampage? Are you tired of feeling helpless to do anything about it? Well, now there's something you can do. It's called Bitcoin. Bitcoin is money that is impossible for the government to control. Bitcoin is impossible to be counterfeited or inflated. Bitcoin is simply a peer-to-peer protocol, so it is impossible for anyone to shut it down, block it, or control it in any way. If you want to see an end to the government inflating the dollar to pay for murder, then you need to start using Bitcoin today. To learn how, visit WeUseCoins.com. Gun control is over. Forever. The effectiveness of legislation prohibiting ownership of firearms became completely ineffective this week, as technology and human innovation has trumped the magic powers of lawmakers. Cody Wilson of Defense Distributed has created the first ever fully functional printable gun. The gun fires bullets in .38 caliber. Wilson named his creation the Liberator, an homage to the one-shot pistols airdropped to the French during Nazi occupation. Government types have their panties in a bunch because they simply can't face the new reality that it is literally impossible for their anti-gun legislation to have any meaningful impact anymore. The people will not consent to be subjugated. Printable plans for the Liberator can be downloaded for free at defcad.com. While you're there, make a donation to Cody for daring to dream and not giving up. Of course, DefCad accepts Bitcoin. This has been Peace News Now, your daily update on the peaceful evolution. Watch us on the Next News Network, and for links and videos, subscribe to PNN at youtube.com/peacenewsnow for peacenewsnow.com. I'm Derek J, reminding you that peace is the way.
All right.
Very good.
Love Derek J's updates. You know, he has a good spin on it. I mean, the man, he really pushes that peace message, and you have to respect it.
Oh, I absolutely do. And I like that he covers different. And actually, it's funny because they kind of tie into each other, one right after the other. So he does a really good job.
Yeah, he is an amazing citizen journalist. So I guess we're going to move right on into it. The first story that we decided to cover today is a mass casualty drill that will be taking place Monday.
Yeah, and this is at Dorney Park, and it's sponsored by the Northeast Pennsylvania Regional Counterterrorism Task Force. And the reason why this caught my attention, mainly because the tweets that came out in Boston just seconds before the bombs went off about bomb drills going on. So in my mind, I'm like, well, let's put this out there. So if, God forbid, something does happen, we knew about it ahead of time, we can prove it. So that's just, you're
not wrong for doing
theorists.
No, I wouldn't even call you a conspiracy theorist for doing that because, like history has dictated with the FBI terror drills, these, where they fund and plan these terrorist attacks for the terrorists and then bust them later. It has shown the pattern of these drills going on during that time. And a little bit of detail about it, it's going to be an active shooter drill, a staged active shooter drill. So they're even actually doing a call for volunteers, which is funny. And the people who will be participating are Dorney Park and Wildwater Kingdom, South Whitehall Emergency Management, South Whitehall Police, Lehigh Valley Hazmat and Special Operations, Centronia Ambulance Corps, Centronia Fire Department, the Lehigh County 911, the Lehigh County Coroner's Office, the Lehigh Valley Health Network, St. Luke's University Health Network, Allentown, and Bethlehem Fire Departments. So the drill will be structured as a training tool for response personnel. So
now I get a lot of these different emergency departments.
Yeah, it makes sense. I would even want that to happen in a voluntary society. These groups work together like that.
Yeah, but why does the coroner's office need to be there? Don't they usually come in after the fact, after the emergency's over? I mean, I get.
Well, if it's a mass casualty drill. I mean, at least for what they're calling it, that makes sense. It's a mass casualty drill. So the coroner would have to be there for mass casualties because taking away that many bodies, I think, would be a logistical problem.
Fair enough. But, then maybe prove me wrong again, please do. But mass casualty, but it's what, a single shooter is what you said?
Yeah, from what I'm reading, it's supposed to be staged as an active shooter drill.
Okay.
But I guess they're also, from what I'm reading here, it's going to be they're also going to conduct a full-scale emergency preparedness drill along with that, and that's according to the release from the township itself. The drill will be held from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and is, like you said, sponsored by the Northeast Pennsylvania Regional Counterterrorism Task Force. Is that DHS? Is that – no, seriously. I mean, that's a serious question. Hold on. I'm going to Google that. But I want to know, is the Northeast Pennsylvania Regional Counterterrorism Task Force, what is that – who is that beholden to, if you will?
Let's see here. Pennsylvania Office of Homeland Security.
You already found it?
Yeah. All you have to do is highlight it, hit right-click, and it'll say Google search.
Don't teach me how to research, sir. Okay. So, you're absolutely right. They are DHS. I called that one a mile away. That was good. Okay. So, I mean, golf clap. Thank you. I don't have a ready-to-go thing for that. I could boo myself. You want me to boo myself, Lucky?
No, I don't want you to boo yourself.
Because I booed you the other day.
That's all right. I'm still waiting for my access to those, but that's okay.
Here, hold on. I'm boosting my own head.
Boo! Boo! You're boosting your own head.
Oh, really? Punny? Okay,
yeah,
so
funny.
So no, the only reason we're really bringing this up is because for those of you who dabble in the conspiracy theories, if you will, the pattern dictates that these things happen around the same time an actual terrorist attack happens. If it has the feel of a false flag, of previous false flags throughout history. So we just want to bring it up, bring it to your attention. Look, this is happening, and keep an eye on it. Oh, and if anybody is in the area, please go down there, record it for us if you can, or record what you can for us. That would be amazing.
And also, if anybody's out there and they see a news report like this for something similar in a different area, they're going to be doing this on this date that has to do with terrorism or has to do with any kind of training exercise, send it to us, because I want to do these every time I get a chance, because I want to try and catch one in the act.
Well, no, it's not only that. We have to prove the theory. I mean, if we're going to be scientific about it, if we say there is a pattern, according to what the FBI has released with all their botched efforts that they've done so far, if this is a pattern, let's prove it so it's no longer a theory. I mean, let's be scientific about it, and this is a very easy way to do it, is point them out, look for something that happens around that same time. But the next news is good news. The next generation has decided to show us what they're made of. Well, at least one 12-year-old boy has. His name is Jeremy Drew. I'm sure lots of you have already seen the video of him recording a police officer who decided to park on the sidewalk.
In a non-emergency situation. Totally not related to work.
Absolutely. And what was he, picking up some eggs or something? I don't know.
No, I saw him walk out. Looked like he had like a Slurpee or something. Looked like he had because the kid, the way he shoots the video, it's all like on its side. So you kind of have to like cock your head to the left to watch it. But the guy, in fact, you can see on the page that I have linked on our format, you'll see him holding like a big gulp in his hand, like almost from like a racetrack or something. And I'm thinking, that's his emergency situation. I used to go to a 7-Eleven right around the corner from my house, and the lady in the store would say, don't leave your car running, because there is a cop that just lurks around and picks people off with leaving their vehicle turned on while they run in the store. And it's a law. You can't park your motor vehicle on the sidewalk. You can't leave these are, it's not a hack premise. This is a law, and people and cops, they think that they're granted special rights. Oh, I'm a cop. I can do it the hell all the time. Is another cop going to come over here and give me a ticket?
Now, hold on. I first want to state that I applaud the ever-loving crap out of this kid.
Me too.
Okay, I want to state that. But in the interest of being logical, all right, and in the interest of how enforced parking your bike on the sidewalk really is, you remember when I owned my scooter, right?
Yeah, you used to get pulled over all the time for that.
Well, anyway.
And not to mention, did he just get pulled over? He got out of every single traffic citation he got without a license.
Well, there's a way to handle police, and it's asserting your rights while being polite. Well, but I parked that scooter on sidewalks all the time. I see other people park their motorcycles on the sidewalks all the time. I would not say that law is one that is necessarily enforced often in the police force. So, in the interest of being fair and logical, the kid might have been a little hard on him. What do you think?
Statist.
Well,
are you excusing cops for breaking the law?
I excuse anybody for breaking the law as long as it's
Damn, you caught me in a technicality, didn't you? Okay, are you excusing cops from breaking a law that they enforce?
I have never seen that law enforced, and I know that's a logical fallacy because it's based on personal experience and not actual data. But maybe that's something we can do. Maybe we can look into that. Is the no parking on the sidewalk law an actually enforced law, or is it one of those laws like, leaving your horse untied in a downtown area or spitting on the sidewalk because you're chewing tobacco?
Okay, but in our interview with Revolution on a Recliner, the discussion was brought up about deregulation when it comes to insider trading laws. If we're forced to follow the laws, it doesn't matter. The cops should be, the cops and whomever else should have to live by those laws and standards.
Yeah.
Equal rights under the law. Now, whether it's enforced or not, that would be a whole different discussion, like you said.
Yeah. All right. Well, hold on one second. We actually have a caller coming in. Okay.
I hope it's Andrew again.
So let's hold on. Let's see if they have an opinion on this matter. Hello, caller?
Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. It's Trip.
Hey, Trip.
I actually was just going to listen until you guys called for anything, but I actually just got done with my show and just popped on. I'm in mom mode doing laundry right now, so I just wanted to listen for a while just to see what was coming up. So, but what are you guys in the midst of right now?
Well, right now we're talking about the kid. We're just discussing the kid in general, and I was bringing up the fact that the law that the kid catches the cop on. And just in the interest of being logical and fair, I've never seen the parking your bike on the sidewalk law actually enforced by a police officer. And I was wondering if it was actually one of those Stone Age laws, kind of like spitting on the sidewalk or leaving your horse untied, and doesn't really apply in a modern society. Just in the interest of being fair and logical.
And I called him a statist.
Right, yeah, you fucking statist. But that's the dispute there, really. No, but no, if anybody has ever, and I don't know if anybody's ever, maybe the listening audience hasn't been there before, but there's a great site that I came across when I was still in high school, actually, called dumblaws.com, and you can go look up state, local, city, county laws that are still in place, and I shit you not, some of the ones that I came across were as such. Like, it's illegal to carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket on a Sunday and within the city limits. I swear to God that was one of them. And, going back to the kids,
didn't Diet Mountain Dew do like a whole series of commercials on this?
I'm not even sure, dude. I haven't had cable in so long, I have no idea. But
God bless Netflix.
Yeah, for real. I got the Roku deal, and anybody that just likes to watch documentaries or maybe like their old shows, man, get one of those. It's like a $60 to $80 investment, and everything that you want is at your fingertips. And they also have internet-based channels for free, and it goes off of your Wi-Fi. But try to stay on point. That the kid, I just dig that, I've been trying to get a hold of this kid, and there's really no email address or anything like that for the kid, but I'd love to get him and his parents on air sometime, because it's just good work. It's good work to see kids growing up to question that kind of stuff, and we're parents, and I believe that we're all raising our kids to be that way.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
Well,
but
Max is still 5 and thinks there's monsters that are going to get him at night. So I'm still kind of working on getting him past that.
Thanks to you. Don't come out of that room. The monsters will get you.
I never said that to my son, although now I wish I had.
Well, my whole thing is that I applaud the ever-loving crap out of this kid. That takes gumption. It's the same reason I applaud people like Luke Rudowski and other ambush journalists like that, gonzo journalists, if you will. I want to be that one day. I would love to be that person, sneaking into secret societies and weird meetings and, ambushing people on things they're doing wrong clearly right then and there. But in the interest of being fair and logical, I do know there are a lot of laws which are broken constantly on a daily that are not actually enforced. I wish they would be taken off the books. Like you were saying with that dumblaws.com, I know for a fact in the city of Orlando in Florida, it is legal to leave your horse untied in the downtown area in front of a business. It's still on the books that it's legal to leave your horse untied.
Right.
I would love to see a campaign, kind of like Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, where people go to all these cities where these dumb laws are and test them.
No, that would be great. I mean, that would be great content if somebody could make like a YouTube channel like just devoted to that alone would be great. But you know, I understand where you're coming from just to play devil's advocate or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Right, but it's at the same time, it's like we've all seen those, you know, the Facebook posts and whatnot of, you know, showing the cop that's texting and driving and all of these things. So it's really about, and I hear this constantly, whether it's talk radio or anything else, because a lot of these veteran cops, man, you know, that grew up, especially, you know, Southern boys on the Good Old Boy Network and all that good stuff, you know, they don't like the people our age and younger that are coming out of the academy that are a bunch of power tripping, you know, kids. Yeah. You know, I mean, coming out of high school and coming out of college, when I was still living in South Carolina, the guys that I went to high school with, you know, some of them became cops, and it was like, dude, if you really think you're going to pull me over and for me to respect your badge and think that you're not just so-and-so that I went to high school with, like, you got another thing coming. So I'm just letting you know, you best want to just leave me the hell alone, or if you want to blow in the call to one of your other people that want to.
You still have our flyer, right?
Me. Yeah, I do. It's in my. Have you put that out there on the show yet? Because
no, I should.
Yeah, why not? There, come on, you gotta stay on point with these things, man.
We're still organizing ourselves, but yeah.
We're news trip. Come on.
But no, it's still in my glove box right now as we speak, and I think I have one in my my console as well. So.
Well, good. In just case one cop steals it, you have another one.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, Trip. We're gonna take a break real quick, and then go ahead and stay on the line, and we're gonna do a quick new segment called "Whoops, Wrong Meeting." I'd like you to stick around for that one if you don't mind.
Sure, man.
All right.
Get some laundry done during the break.
Yeah. So, hey, for real, before you go to the break, sorry for taking over the show. I was just gonna, you know, sit passively by and listen, but I didn't know it popped up in the queue.
No, I saw it and I was all like, oh, well, you know, I'm always happy to have you on the show, man. You always have a great take on things.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll sit passively by.
All right, and then after we do this segment, I'll pop you back in. All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, so in the last episode, Matthew was upset that I did not play the Pennywise song, so we're going to go ahead and start with that one. And then, of course, I want to promote Same Side Entertainment because in the end, aren't we all on the same side? All right.
Stand up for your rights and
I guess that didn't finish uploading.
Do you have a
here we
group or
go.
organization founded on the principles of personal liberty, health freedom, or accountable government? We invite you to check out Same Side Entertainment. Same Side is a source for activists and liberty organizations to connect with well-known leaders in today's growing movement for sustainable living, personal liberty, and sovereignty issues. Same Side has a variety of keynote speakers, debate panels, interactive web presentations, musicians, and liberty-based entertainment, as well as services for web design, graphic design, video, and photography. Same Side can help customize your event by connecting you to the best of the liberty and political world while staying within your budget. Get connected with leaders in the liberty movement like Tom Woods, Kevin Gutzman, Jack Hunter, Robert Scott Bell, Bob Murphy, Michael Scheuer, John Bush, Jordan Page, Tatiana Moroz, and many more. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our website at www.samesideentertainment.com. Again, that's www.samesideentertainment.com. Same Side Entertainment, connecting you with the education and resources you need.
Sorry, Matthew, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I think that link is actually, because I've played that link before, and it cuts off like right before the end of the song.
Yeah. Well. Okay, so the next segment we're going to do is hopefully going to be a regular one on this show. It's going to be called Whoops, Wrong Meeting. And it's going to be pointing out the blatantly stupid and or lies that the mainstream media do. And here is the intro for our new segment.
To me, it's a great example of a totalitarian government's ability to manage information and thus keep us in the dark any way they deem. Oh, sorry, wrong meeting. Shit.
All right. In a bizarre television and spatial anomaly on CNN this morning, the blanket coverage of 2 true crime stories led to 2 news anchors to conduct an odd satellite interview from the very same parking lot, background traffic and all. The 2 suspects are Ashley Banfield of CNN and Nancy Grace of Headline News, who are updating viewers on the latest from their ongoing, increasingly ugly Cleveland kidnapping story. It is hilarious. I recommend that you guys check out the story, that you look at the video. Someone actually took the time to figure out where they would have been positioned in the parking lot for the buses to show up in the same frame.
It is funny. I saw this post and I said, "Oh, okay, come on, really?" And I pulled up the link and I'm like, "Oh my God, that's the exact same structure that's sitting behind Nancy's head. That's behind this other lady's head." And I'm watching the same SUV pass by in the same bus, and I'm like, "Why would you even do that? Why not just put the 2 of you together and talk?" I'm like, what are they trying to prove? I mean, like, are they that lazy? They're not even going to the elaborate schemes like they did in the early 90s when the first Iraq War, when they tried to film like they were live in Iraq, but they were really in a studio in Atlanta. It's like, I just put them in the parking lot, put one on one end and one on the other, and we'll just do satellite feed.
Well, apparently they went to the wrong meeting because they either they were unaware that they were merely 50 feet from each other, or I mean, it's just as Bill Hicks said, it's just a way to show how a totalitarian government can manipulate the information of. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we at the wrong meeting?
Wrong meeting, folks. Wrong meeting.
I want to put Tripp back on the line here in a second. I want to get his take on this. I'm pretty sure he's heard of it. And I think it's just absolutely ridiculous that the news would even do something like this.
Really? You're surprised at this point?
Well, yeah, in the same parking lot, Matt. I mean, it's one thing to stage a news event to make it seem more dramatic, because there's an agenda. What the hell was the agenda?
It's CNN.
Oh my goodness.
How can you explain? Okay, like we'll probably find some of these for MSNBC and Fox News. We'll go, okay, we're not really surprised by that. But CNN, I'm not surprised by anything they do. They stage mass killings in other countries that don't even exist.
Yeah, we did an episode of that.
I mean, honestly, I think if they're willing to go to that extreme, this isn't so extreme. This is actually just comical and hilarious, and I'm not surprised whatsoever.
Hold on. Let me get Trip on the line. Let me see what he thinks about this. Hey, Trip, are you there?
Sorry, that's the meeting we're having at the docks later. I hope to see you gentlemen there. But I'm glad, Matthew. I'm glad you brought that up. Like, if anybody hasn't seen that of the Desert Storm tidbit, that is priceless hilarity, where they have fake bombs going off and putting on gas masks and army helmets. It's hilarious if you haven't seen it. So I guess blue screens and digital backgrounds have gotten a little bit better, and that's the only seemingly difference that I have here. But the other thing is like it's lazy. It's lazy, and B, you're going to have those plants when you're talking. CNN is the worst. I mean, globalist Ted Turner. You guys know I grew up in Atlanta. Ted Turner is probably the equivalent of God in Atlanta.
Let me somewhat disagree with you a little bit on this particular incident. This isn't lazy, because all they had to do was put the two of them together and run one camera. This took a mastermind of
Mastermind? Really? You're filming in the same parking lot the status
the
of
mastermind moniker. Yeah, the mastermind moniker.
Because who goes to a meeting with their editors and their bosses and go, all right, guys, here's what I want to do. I want to take two different women. We'll take Nancy Grace and this other chick, and we're going to just set up two different film spots in the same parking lot for no reason whatsoever, just to give the illusion that they're talking to a satellite.
You know why, right?
That's a mastermind.
Bill Gates is part of the forces of darkness.
But okay. To add on that, okay, there's two things at hand, and the latter that I'm about to bring up is usually people going, playing the conspiracy card, but this is also a fact. If they're not lazy, they're arrogant. And I think of most state-run media and politicians and corporations, I think a lot of people can agree with me on that, as there's a certain amount of arrogancy in all of that, as well as if you follow the elite, and this is just to dive a little bit deeper, they live by a code of ethics that they kind of have to tell you what they're going to do in a roundabout way before they do it. And I'm not tying this in completely to that, but I believe it kind of follows that same platform. Is like, we have to prove to you how stupid you are and how much all of our writings are true, that you're big, dumb animals that don't know what's best for you, so we have to control the whole damn world. That's just my line of thinking anyway. You guys can take that and run with it.
Now, would you say that it's not really a code of ethics, but more of a code of anti-ethics, so to speak?
Right. Yes.
I mean, they're telling us, that's that famous saying, if you want to hide something, just stick it under somebody's nose. They do it
right.
Yeah, on plain view, and they do that, and people, for the most part, just go, there's no way people would, do something like that, and then they just take the crap and eat it. But this right here, I mean, I don't know. And
to be honest, I haven't seen what you're talking about. I
posted the link.
Okay.
I'll post it on Facebook, or actually, you know what? I'll message it to you.
Okay.
But you will absolutely just die laughing when you see it.
It is comical genius. Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have. You would think it was a Will Ferrell movie when you see this. You will be all like,
having an Anchorman moment.
seriously, you know.
There you go. That message is sent, Trip.
This escalated quickly.
And then you know what happened is that like Sean Hannity and then like Anderson Cooper and Wolf Blitzer and Chris Matthews all show up with like their chains and like weapons of choice, you know, in a parking lot somewhere.
You know what? I honestly believe Bill O'Reilly would rule that circle. He would just absolutely tear it up.
Did
you ever watch it? Did you watch that debate with him and Jon Stewart? He towered
I did
over
not.
Jon Stewart. He's like 6'20".
Oh, I knew. Yeah, I knew that he was like 6'12" or some ridiculous shit like that.
Dead silence,
bastard.
I'm sorry, I was looking for the Bill O'Reilly clip that I had. But I don't see it. Where is it? Where's the? But anyway.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Fuck it, we're doing it live. I don't even need a clip. I'm just gonna fucking do it live. This fucking thing sucks.
We used to play that before on LMR. We used to play that before everybody. When Eric was controlling everybody's show, like just picking up on their own stream. That's what he would play right before anybody went live.
Have you heard the remix song?
No. Oh, dude, you know what I played today? Did you guys?
I listened in. I when I came in, I was listening. It sounded like Scottish folk music when I kicked in.
Okay, yeah, that was halfway through the show. I started out with, and you know this guy in Cleveland. I didn't mean to get off on this tangent, but I'll just skip right to this just for a minute. The Cleveland guy, you know, they've released the 911 tapes and the local news from all that, right?
Charles Ramsey, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, they have auto-tuned it. If you just type in auto-tune dead giveaway Cleveland or whatever, and it's him, and they've taken all the sound clips from the 911 and local news stories and made this minute-and-a-half long song about it that is hilarious, and it's auto-tuned and got music behind it and the whole bit. And it's absolutely hilarious.
Well, I'll tell you what, since you brought it up, we were actually going to discuss that, right? And so we'll just jump right into that. I just want to point out one thing, right? I love that this guy, you know, it just goes to prove that, you know, police are usually ineffective and what catches criminals is citizens, you know, acting on in most situations. I'm not going to say all. No, I'm not going to say all cops suck, but, you know, citizens tend to be more active than the police when actually trying to catch criminals.
Can I say all cops suck?
Yeah, go right ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah, all cops suck. There's no need for them.
No censorship, you know. I'm just saying individually, I met cool cops. Now, granted, they were cops, so they still had to do cop things that I disagree with. But they personally, like I had one drive me around for 2 hours once, just so that when I walked away from this place he had to drop me off at, he wouldn't have to come back and get me. So, I mean, I've had cool cops before, but that's neither here nor there. But I wanted to point out one line that this man said, and I think that we gave him a pass on it because of the great thing that he did, and it is great. But he said, when I saw a little white girl run into the arms of a black man, I knew something was wrong.
And that's actually the crux of that auto-tune song. I mean, that's the line that is really like the funniest thing in that song that they've redone. But he's like, I knew something was wrong when a little white girl came running in a black man's arms. I mean, that's hilarious. It's funny.
Now It is funny. But I think is that not a little racist? I mean, hold on. Let me ask that question. Is it not a little racist?
No. This is where I disagree with you. I think it's funny.
It is funny. I'm not saying it's not funny.
If you're making fun of race, no. If you're making fun of racism, it's not racist. Real racism, as Bill Burr, one of my favorite, is subtle. Exactly. It's subtle.
Was subtle. We gave him a pass.
No.
We made it into songs. Because it is funny. It's funny because he said it, and we don't care why he knew something was wrong. But he was right.
You guys will have to look that, and we've talked about it enough. You guys have to look up that during the next break or something. But
hold on, I'll see if I can look it up now. Hold on,
it's just auto-tune dead giveaway on YouTube. That's all you need. But while you're looking that up, I just want to point this out as well. In another moment of hilarity, this came out just before I went live tonight. Was that he has been hemmed up on domestic battery charges 3 times in the past 15 years. So this. That came out of SmokingGun.com tonight. That's all I'm saying is the guy got, in another moment of hilarity, he got hemmed up on 3 domestic battery charges against his ex-wife. So,
that is cosmic irony right there.
It really is.
Hold on, tell me if you can hear this. I'm going to do a test run on this song real quick, and let me know if you can hear it. Can you hear that?
Nope.
Did you hear that?
No, couldn't hear anything.
Anybody?
You there? Nope. Dead air. Oh, Jesus. No. This is not good, fellas.
All right, I believe I am back on the air. Hello, can you guys hear me? I am not sure if you guys can hear me. I am... Hold on one second. I'm going to see if... Can you... hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, all right. Something happened where...
that's blog talk for you. I don't care. I'll talk shit against blog talk all day long.
Something happened. Matthew, if you can hear me, it's when you're calling in for some reason, it's not letting me do group call. I need you to do it in group call, please. Anyway, so until I get Matthew back on, welcome as a guest co-host there, Trip.
Yeah. Hey, you're listening to Journalistic Revolution on Blog Talk Radio.
Well, that's okay. We only have like 4 minutes till break anyway, and hopefully we'll get this all figured out. Matthew, if for some reason it's not letting me answer, you keep calling, but it's saying that if I answer you, it will put this call that I am currently on hold, so I will need you to call in on the phone line, please.
Yeah, he was trying to do Skype, and Skype is totally screwed on Blog Talk. But enough of talking shop. Did you at least get a chance to hear that auto-tune deal?
I heard the beginning of it. I was asking you if you could hear it. I wanted to find out if the people could actually hear the.
No, that obviously screwed something up, but it's hilarious. You'll have to go check it out during some other time. But I found it funny that guy. That you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay, sorry, it broke up there for a minute. The guy, had the domestic battery charges and the whole bit, and it's like, but you know what? Another good thing is the guy got on, and I believe it was Anderson Cooper, and was like, oh, there's a reward out. I think you would be entitled to some of that. And he's like, he brought out his paycheck, and he's like, I already got a paycheck. This needs to go to those girls. So, there is a bit of redemption in that. And, I commend the guy for being straight up and being cool about it and
Absolutely.
And everything else,
Yeah. Well, no, I do too. I actually heard that I guess there's already T-shirts in the bar that he, goes to often. And
frequents.
Yeah,
a patron saint of an unknown Cleveland bar.
Of an unknown Cleveland bar. Well, they made T-shirts for him, calling him the Cleveland hero, and they have the T-shirts made for him. And I guess they were going to give him some of the proceeds, and he said no, set the proceeds to victims of abuse, which is another redeeming quality, especially with the fact that.
Go ahead. You can say that he's black. It's okay.
No, that he was in domestic abuse. Was that subtle racism?
Yes.
Am I getting called out for my own stuff?
Yeah. If you just come out and say it, it's less, under a microscope.
Hold on.
I'm just saying.
What's the completely racist, non-racist thing I'm supposed to say right now? I have black friends.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Most of my friends are black. But no, the other thing is he also got another funny thing, and I am in no way, shape, or form, I can't even eat this garbage anymore, but in every interview that he did, he plugged McDonald's like 4 to 5 times in like 2 or 3 minutes. And he was like, I was at McDonald's eating a number 5. Like he kept on going on about it or whatever. well, I tell you what, McDonald's actually got a hold of him as well and said, way to go, we'll be in touch, was basically the crux of the message from McDonald's representative.
Throws this guy a bone.
I would give the guy his own franchise first off. Like I would just like say, hey man, here's a franchise. Give him a free franchise, biggity bam.
Yeah. No, I think that would be cool. And that would really bolster McDonald's rapport, if you will, with the people to show that they're not just an evil corporation that wants everybody to be fat.
Right. Even though we all know the truth, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Nudge, nudge. Wait, we're at the wrong meeting. But but yeah, okay. So while Matthew's trying to get back on with us, the next thing we were actually going to discuss was the Benghazi meeting hearings today. Did you research any of that?
I did a little bit on it, and I also listened to some of the C-SPAN live stream of it, and I totally expected it to be like, how we found the derivatives and the housing bubble and the Wall Street getting questioned, like, we don't know. Geez, I have all this cash in my hands, but we don't know what happened, to the bubble or whatever. So I expected testimony, especially people directly involved and employed by the state, to come in and kind of play that same role.
Yeah.
But they really said there's no reason why this should have happened. There was a cover-up and personally, my own opinion, I think it was kind of a black eye for the State Department to get, saying, oh, well, yeah, we fund Al-Qaeda, the West backs Al-Qaeda, and this happened at our own base, so yeah, no, we couldn't just get there. Those people were radicals, obviously.
Yeah.
Am I here?
Yes, you're here. You're here, Matthew. I put you live.
Trip, do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
Tell Eric to hurry up and get us on Liberty Movement Radio.
Listen here. All right, gentlemen, before we go any further with this, I'm going to let you know that I haven't seen this since me and Caleb Leverett both joined, that those shows were replayed. Our initial shows were replayed nonstop, and I swear to God, I check in all the time. At work and when I'm driving around, I travel for work all over Florida, and every single time that I've checked in the past 2 days, it has been your show and Jack Blood repeats. So I'm letting you know, Eric is playing those repeats. And
oh, yeah.
Well, no, I'm going to be getting in touch with Eric. We're probably going to be, if it's cool with him and everything, starting next Tuesday, but that's shop talk, He's just upset that he's getting kicked off of Blog Talk Radio.
Right.
This thing keeps booting me out, man. It's driving me crazy.
I didn't boo you. Anyway.
No, I said this thing keeps booting me out. It's driving me crazy. Kind of ruins the show. I mean, honestly, what's a show without me? Come on.
Well, yeah, that was my
show. So he's still talking about Charles Ramsey?
No, we're talking about Benghazi. We went ahead and moved on. We'll make sure to post his auto tune on the next episode. But I guess the whistleblowers had a lot to say about it. There was 3 of them that testified today, right?
There's 3 that testified, and a 4th one that they have a gag order on that seemingly it knows the most. And of course, it's like, once again, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Don't get Breitbarted. Don't get Princess Diana'd. You come out with everything that you've got, blazing guns, right off the rip, and you have a better chance of not ending up in the Kennedy Museum or wherever they store these people nowadays.
Next to Walt Disney. But no, it's
right.
But no,
it's all like Futurama with cryogenically frozen heads. That's basically what it is at this point.
That would be awesome. But no, I want to point out something here though, because we get a lot of flack for toying with the idea of conspiracy theories, for questioning official stories about things that happen. Now, this is one of those things that's in the mainstream. People are seeing it in front of their face. They believe it. They're going ape crap, trolling the internet over it. But in 3 months, when we bring up something else that is like Benghazi, we will be called conspiracy theorists. And that's really upsetting to me to a certain degree.
No, I agree, and that's why. I mean, really, on our way up to Atlanta Music Liberty Fest, we didn't even shut up. We were in Atlanta before I knew it. That was the fastest Atlanta trip that I've ever been on, because it seemed like, and we were stuck in traffic half the time. But it was literally the quickest Atlanta trip I had ever felt, because that's a great dichotomy, and I know that you guys do your best as far as fact-checking and making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted before you, put the JREV stamp on anything. So I must commend you for that, but I do think it's also interesting conversation for somebody that toys with the notion of conspiracy as much as I do. And I'm not really a guy that says, I know how everything is. I'm not that guy that's like, man, there was a stand-down order, and there was this and that, and it's all a plot because the Jews are taking over, or what, whatever, whatever the big hubbub is at the time, So I'm not that guy, but I am a guy that says, hey, you might want to look into this a little bit further, because this is on record. This is on record. And if they're lying about this, how about government being straight up with its citizens for a change? There's a concept to toy with, but I won't go off onto it. But, there's things that you can say, hey, this looks peculiar, and this is on record as well. So this is true, and you can kind of draw your own line.
Yeah. Well, you're absolutely right, because when the Benghazi thing happened, both myself and Matthew, right off the rip, we called BS on this whole, it was because of a YouTube video crap, right? But they stuck to that narrative, and even the mainstream media had to eventually come out and say, all right, well, it doesn't seem feasible that it would have been possible because the video was released this day. This was obviously a planned attack. And even then, I'm getting people from both the left and the right that support our troops right, and the whole our democratic government can't do anything wrong left, arguing with me that this isn't a conspiracy, that I'm just a crazy kook and I must think there's lizard people and all this stuff, and it's all like, no, I'm just pointing out the facts as they are coming out and using logic to try to determine what is happening.
Robert, there are people out there that still believe they hate us for our freedoms.
You're fucking with me. There's no way there's people out there that still believe that.
I mean, honestly, no, but so they're going to sell the narrative that, it was this video. Yeah, these guys just got pissed off and attacked an embassy, which had absolutely nothing to do with the video. It was completely independent of the government, and just started to kill people because of the video. And people, regardless of how the facts came out and what eventually turned out to be the truth, people still believed it.
Well, where's my freaking apology? That's all I want. Where's my apology? Where's my, hey, my bad, you were right.
Okay, well, listen.
Yeah. Hey, don't hold your breath.
I bring this up enough, and that's why I really do. Aside from our friendship, I mean, what you guys do, I have a deep admiration and respect for. Is that I feel like people like us that go against the status quo have to be right 110% of the time. Otherwise, everything that we ever say, well, like you said, Robert, we might as well be talking lizard people at this point.
Yeah.
And it's like, really, like I'm not entitled to draw my own opinions and conclusions by the information that is at hand. I don't have I have I can't question things. These are things that come out that people are just going, if you're wrong 2% of the time, man, you are completely discredited and nobody will ever listen to you again. And sad to say, that happens to a lot of people with a lot of good information and a lot of deep knowledge on.
I've been guilty of it. I've been guilty of it.
If you don't buy the official narrative, you don't like the mainstream media. If you don't like the mainstream media, then you don't like America. And if you don't like America, you don't like the government. If you don't like the government, the terrorists win. That's the way it is.
Well, no, I've been personally guilty of that, where, through my journey of liberty, if you will, as I learn things and as I learn to not have emotionally driven conclusions and try to logically look at things and not try to have a preconceived conclusion to a situation, I've been guilty of, turning off Alex Jones and deciding that everything he says is crap. And then later I've had to change my beliefs and go, okay, well, he's still a good place to find sources. You know what I mean? He still does his homework. I should at least look at his sources and draw my own conclusion. And I've done the same with MSNBC. I loved them during the Bush administration, but as soon as Obama got in office, I wanted nothing to do with them.
Well, that's just like we had that Democratic congressman from California that did that huge, big speech, as well as our representative, how much we don't like him, but did some great stuff during the financial bubble. Alan Grayson, our Orlando congressman. Yeah. And he did great stuff on that bailout and on the stimulus and all of that stuff, and was really speaking the truth. But in that time was just the birthing pains of what we've come to now, of knowing that, okay, the Democrats are going to call the Republicans a bunch of sons of bitches when they're in power, and the Republicans are going to call the Democrats a bunch of sons of bitches when they're in power, and nothing ever gets done. And because it's a power struggle, it's not a well-being of the people. It's a notoriety and a whose buttons can I push to get a bigger name for myself and hopefully get some more money from Halliburton or who the hell ever. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's not. It's about a power struggle, and the elite have the same thing. The people that control our politicians have the same thing. You think the Rothschilds and the Queen of England really care about each other at a deep level? Well, no, they want to be the top dog. Everybody wants to be the top dog, and everybody's a bunch of fucking sociopaths.
Well, who was it that said that you can picture the world elite like the Gambinos and the Debeses, and that they're playing a crap game and they're fighting against each other, and sometimes they kill one another while they're playing this crap game. But if you come in and disturb their crap game, they will team up on you and get rid of you.
Well, just like that scene from The Godfather as well, where there's competing things, and they're like, oh, well, we're not. There's a code of ethics and everything, and then at the end of the day, when it comes to the drug running, they say, and I'm drawing a parallel between this statement and how our politicians and corporations and mega bank leaders think of we the people, is that when he said, sell it to the niggers, they're animals anyway. And that's what they mean about us. That's really the same game that they're playing with, quote, we the people.
Yeah, substitute derogatory statement, any other derogatory statement.
Now, I kind of wanted to touch base on something you had said before, though. We're talking about politics. We're talking about politicians. Whenever I'm trying to explain to people who don't understand that the Democrats and Republicans don't give a crap about their social issues or economic issues, I often reach back to 2000 to 2006 when we had a Republican president, House, and Senate. What got done? Did abortion become illegal like the Christian right wanted? And then you look at the 2 years we had a Democrat House, Democrat Senate, and a Democrat president. Did they make gay marriage legal? No, because they know at the end of the day, if they don't have those things to talk about every election, you won't elect them.
Yeah, it's loaded dice. It's a fixed game, and they'll take baby steps to these goals. They'll take baby steps to eliminating a leftist program, if you will, and they'll take baby steps to making gay marriage legal. But they only do the baby steps every 4 to 8 years.
Well, and today today was a perfect example of that as well, and how the media plays into all this, because they, like CNN, I don't know if you guys know this, but today CNN was covering those hearings and the whistleblower deals. Well, as soon as they started to open their mouth and say there's no reason why that should have happened, there's no reason why those people had to die, there's no reason why we couldn't have drones and tanks and all kinds of stuff there within a relatively short period of time. As soon as the whistleblowers and the guys in the hearing started talking that way, guess what CNN did? Cut to...
Oh, I'm sure they went to commercial.
No, not commercial, but they're like, all right, we'll check in on that in a little bit. By the way, Honey Boo Boo, or whatever.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they did. It wasn't necessarily Honey Boo Boo, but it was some crackpotted social issue that is totally rigged and means nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, that's crazy. And they came out with a lot of stuff that was pretty much already assumed. That, hell, we're the U.S. military. Like, we couldn't have gotten in there in time. I mean, from America, I believe it's 24 hours we can get a platoon anywhere in the world. So you're telling me with all those bases around that area, we couldn't get at least a few soldiers in there? I mean, come on, that just doesn't seem logical. And then the fact that they got all this warning about it going to happen because it was a pre-planned attack, and I guess there was intelligence to suggest that this was going to happen, and they didn't bolster the security.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, and so there's all this...
they were practically begging for extra security the days leading up to the attack. The ambassador was.
Yeah. The man Ambassador Chris Stevens, the one who was killed that everybody's upset about, he was the one asking for more protection.
I'd really like to hear you guys' take on this. And this is diving a little bit deeper, and this is something that I've been toying with over the past couple weeks, especially when Janet Napolitano goes, I don't know why we need 2.2 billion hollow point bullets for target practice, I guess. Hollow point bullets. But
for target practice? That's
right. Well, not only that, but in the wake of the Boston bombing and all of these other things, okay, we've done all of these things. Hundreds of billions of dollars have been pissed down the drain. And are people really still buying this whole security thing? Does the Boston bombing still happen? Does Benghazi still happen? In the wake of all of this safety and security, have the U.S. government that has pissed away hundreds of billions of dollars of our money, taken away countless freedoms, has any of that made us any safer at the day? And that is a question that nobody asked Janet Napolitano. That's something that nobody asked Barack Obama. That's something that nobody asked Hillary Clinton.
Well, they would just point to all those TSA bombings or all this bombings that the TSA stopped that they can't talk about.
Oh yeah, they can't talk about.
Yeah, they can't talk about them, but they would just say the TSA has stopped an uncountable amount of bombings, but yet they say because of security measures they can't release any information about them whatsoever.
You know what's BS about that? You're dealing with the TSA, underpaid, underqualified, people who get caught stealing, groping, perverts, and you're telling me none of these people are talking about the great bombs that they've decided to thwart, or they were able to thwart? It's BS.
Well, thanks to their funding by us, actually they are getting paid. They're no longer minimum wage goons with plastic badges. I think the last report that I saw said something around $22 an hour, and I don't know about you gentlemen, but that's
I'd take it.
Yeah, that's
okay. So overpaid, underqualified.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. No, you're right.
That makes it worse.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It almost gives them incentive to be bigger douchebags.
If they're making $22 an hour, why are they stealing?
Well, it's stealing from us just to expand Homeland Security, I mean, under the umbrella of, FEMA. I mean, come on, we got to get all those trailers out to the people for FEMA and,
Don't forget the strippers.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of things that can be done under this Homeland Security umbrella that's been slowly growing underneath the shadows for, at least 10 years.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a break real quick here in a minute, and if you want, I'll leave you on hold so you can listen in, or if you want to chime in a little bit later, I'll be more than happy to come back. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just
we love having you here.
Call me out. Yeah, thanks, man. Really, I didn't really mean to do this, and I don't want to be butting in on you guys' stuff, but
and absolutely,
I'll just
about promotion.
I'll just keep the stuff going. Just put me on mute and then call me out, and I'll be listening by phone. So
sounds great.
All right, man.
Definitely. All right. So what the next song that we're gonna play while we take a quick little break is Jordan Page, Liberty, the acoustic version. Here we go with Jordan Page.
Why do we sit down when all should be standing? And why do we back down at the critical moment, like running away from the waves of the ocean? We head for the hills with the high tide approaching, as sand slips away from the castle. When it's time to stand upright, why do we falter, like placing our freedom on the sacrificial altar? We hold tight to our fears and defend our oppressors, as we fight for their lives and become the transgressors, as pacifists transform to violent aggressors. But I'm only a stranger here. I'm a long, long way from my home, and they say I can't change all the things I find strange. But what can one man do alone? They say, what can one man do alone? When is the right time to stand up for freedom? Could it be when you start to feel creating children who'll inherit the pain and the debt of this nation, and be slaves to the banks that cause hyperinflation, who are masters of commerce, lies, and bad legislation? Oh, if you looked in the eyes of 1,000 young children through fences of razors, their innocence stolen, as the red flag of tyranny flies in the open, is that when you finally notice? Whoa, but I'm only a stranger here. I'm a long, long way from my home, and they say I can't change all the things I find strange. But what can one man do alone? Is what can one man do alone? I'm only a stranger looking to find better nature in my fellow man, but they keep telling me it's a sin to be free, and that's more than I'm willing to stand. Where will you be when the order is given to censor your mind, as free speech is forbidden, as martyrs for peace from the world will be driven away by the sound of a bellowing thunder, and choke on the blood of a dream going under? I find strange, for I am not one man alone. Yes, I'm only a stranger. I'm a long, long way from my home, and I'm going to change all the things I find strange, for I know that I'm not alone. Yes, I know I'm not alone. Not alone.
All right. I thought that was a very that song, honestly, the first time I heard it brought me to tears. What about you, Matt?
I love Jordan Page. I love what he does for the movement. He's got great vocals. I mean, it's just great music. I mean, and I think no matter what kind of music you enjoy, it's all, you know, it spans, you know, everybody. Everybody can enjoy it on some level. So, and I liked how he turned his focus to the Liberty Movement. So I really appreciate everything he does.
Yeah, no, Jordan Page is awesome. But so the next subject that we were going to discuss was actually something that you, Matthew, yourself, actually with True Blue. I don't know if she wants us using, you know, her actual name, but with True Blue, you guys this was your guys' baby, right?
Well, I was sitting there, I was talking to her, and I had the thought in my mind, and I asked her what she thought, and she said go for it. It's kind of why I made her a host, because I kind of felt like she was part of the inspiration for it, and I believe in giving credit where credit's due, and I don't think that I would have thought of it without her having the just normal conversation with me. But yeah, I think that this is something that needs to be done almost as great as the amount of people that are planning on going or maybe attending. Honestly, I will put in my 2 cents here. I don't see how people are putting maybe on this. It's not like it costs you anything, maybe the cost of a stamp, but people
if you decide to use snail mail.
Yeah, but people are saying maybe. I think like 9 people last time I checked have said maybe they'll do this, maybe they'll attend this, but I don't quite understand that. But yeah, I think it needs to be done. I think that a call needs to be made out to the D.C. police, email, call, whatever it takes to make them understand that the whole world is watching. They have an oath. They need to uphold it, and it's like you were telling me that the Supreme Court passed a law 2 years ago that overturned their law, and they have refused to overturn it. I think that's something.
The Supreme Court said that the gun ban in which that D.C. implemented was unconstitutional, and they have not yet changed those laws. And that, I believe that was 2 years ago. I don't quote me because I need to double check that, but yeah, it was a good distance ago.
Yeah, and what this is basically it's a call out whether you agree with what Adam Kokesh is doing or not. It doesn't matter. What we all need to agree on is that this needs to be peaceful. And if it's going to be peaceful, we need to have everybody, even though it is technically civil disobedience, the police need to upstand and hold their oath, hold true to their oath, and they need to be told that they need to do everything in their power to ensure that it remains peaceful so that nobody gets harmed. And basically it was an event group that I put together in order to invite people to call, email, snail mail, whatever it took to show support for Adam Kokesh's march and rally.
Well, it's not necessarily these people. What I like about this is that, and what I think is brilliant about your idea is that you don't have to agree with Adam Kokesh's protest to participate in what you're suggesting, because even the trolls say that the reason they don't support it is because they're afraid it's going to end violently. Okay? This says that if you disagree with Adam, but you don't want to see it end violently, call the D.C. office and explain to them you expect them to do everything in their power to make sure that it doesn't become violent. And like you said, the whole world is going to be watching. So if you disagree with Adam, I think you can agree to just give a call, shoot an email. What's it going to take? 5 minutes of your time? And just say, hey, DCPD, we're watching. People are going to be documenting it. It's something that we really, really believe in, regardless of your Second Amendment, what your opinion is on the Second Amendment. We believe in peaceful activism, and we would love for you to show us that you want peaceful activism just as much.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, well, I mean, you and I are planning on being there. I'm not 100% sure on the details yet. I know you want to be there without a shadow of a doubt if you have to hitchhike. Yeah. I want to be there. I want you to be. I'll pick you up on the side of the road as you're hitchhiking. No, I just think that if you and I are going to be there, we're not going to be brandishing weapons because I don't have an AR-15 to strap on my back.
Well,
I
we'll have
a weapon
cameras.
as well.
So I mean, according to the federal government, that's a weapon.
Yeah. So we're going to be there documenting it. Well, guess what? We're technically in harm's way as well. So it goes beyond just it goes to the people who are actually protesting. It goes to the people who are protesting without a weapon. It goes to the people who are there filming, the independent media, the news media, and the local citizens. Because if you tell me that there aren't going to be, it's 4th of July weekend, that there aren't going to be local citizens out on the streets celebrating, out in their yards, whatever, it's a pipe dream. Now, Congress and Senate and the President, they're not going to have to worry about it. The President will probably be in Hawaii playing golf or some BS like that. Everybody's going to be off that weekend back in their home state doing whatever the heck they dang well please. But for us, we're going to be there. And I want to make sure that the D.C. police, honestly, I wish the D.C. police would just stay home.
Well, that's
to tell
not
you the truth.
Happen.
I know it's not going to happen. But honestly, Adam Kokesh and the massive people that are going to go through there are just going to walk. And they're going to walk from point A to point B and call it a day. Yeah. Just to prove a point. And if the police are there, well, guess what? There's more likely of an opportunity. So really, if you really wanted to call them out to be smart about it, they just stay home. We know that's not going to happen. We know they're going to be there. Call them. That's
what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask them to escort them through D.C. But real quick, we have a caller coming in. I want to get the caller's opinion real quick, be it both either negative or positive on that subject, and see what she thinks. Hold on one second. Hi, caller, you're live.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. This is Lauren, and I'm calling from California. How you doing?
Oh, we were doing good.
Hey, Lauren.
I believe you were just listening that we were discussing this Adam Kokesh armed march and how that people who disagree with what he is doing but want to see it end peacefully can help it reach that conclusion instead of a violent one. Do you think that's a good idea on trying to help get people who even disagree with him to get this to end peacefully?
Well, what is it that's not peaceful exactly? I think that's the part that I missed. Is he threatening to kill people or what?
Well, no. I mean, Adam isn't threatening, but I mean, the trolls or the people who are against this are saying that there's a potential
this can only end badly.
This can only end badly. There's a potential for provocateurs or a crazy nut shooting off one bullet and it'll end in a bloodbath. So we're suggesting that people who say that, the people who are the naysayers that said that this will end badly, call the DCPD or email them or write them a letter and ask them to do everything in their power or even escort them to make sure that this ends peacefully.
Well, really clear on what DC's gun laws are, if they're even allowed to be there with guns. If they are, then I don't see a problem with it. If they're not allowed, if it is against the law, if it's a violation of the law there, I don't think they should be doing it. But, I just moved back here from Wisconsin, and we had a straight 2 years of just complete chaos and political turmoil, and liberals constantly getting in our faces over everything, always, like you said, trying to provoke us into bad behavior so they could point the finger at us. And you just have to ignore those people. You know, if this guy wants to do that, this guy Adam, and I've read a little bit about it on Facebook and stuff, but I don't really know exactly what he's doing. I guess some gun march or something. But, you know, we can't live our lives according to people that want to provoke bad behavior and stuff like that. We got to just kind of move on and do our own thing, you know?
Agreed. And I think that for these people, see, the reason I like Matt's idea, and I think there's a simple brilliance to it, is that if you are against him doing this, it would make sense for you to ask the other party that's going to be involved in this, which we all know, the DC police, because it's illegal for you to open carry or concealed carry a gun in DC. If that's the case, then they shouldn't be doing it. That's going to make a lot of people look bad. It's going to make us look like a bunch of gun nuts, and we don't follow the law. Here's my argument for that, though, is the Supreme Court about 2 years ago, I'm not exactly sure on the chronology, but about 2 years ago deemed that the gun laws as they exist in Washington, D.C. are unconstitutional, and D.C. has not yet complied with the Supreme Court.
Now, wasn't that over just gun ownership? Because didn't they ban complete ownership over there? Like you couldn't have one at all? I don't remember exactly, but I remember there was something going on with that where they told people if they lived in D.C. they weren't allowed to even own a gun.
Well, here's my question. If you can't transport a gun in open or in concealment, how are you supposed to move a gun from one place to another?
Well, D.C.'s not real big, so I guess you'd have to drive around.
Well,
you know, for me, I mean, hey, listen, I'm a fighter, and I like to get people riled up, but I try to really pay close attention to the law. I don't want to break the law. It just makes our cause look bad. And if these laws do still exist, and if they're on the books, and if the police have a reason to arrest people, that's probably what they're going to do. But I think that if these laws do still stand legally, and this guy knows it, and he's trying to get a bunch of people together to break these laws, I think it's going to make us all look bad. So,
yeah,
it's just a weird thing, you know.
Because honestly, I do see the logic in your argument, and for the last few days, I've listened to a lot of very logical arguments against what Adam is doing, and I will give them credence because I'm a kind of person who tries to look at both sides of a debate. And I see the concern because there is the possibility for it ending badly or making the liberty movement look badly. I can see that possibility. But I think that as liberty-minded Republicans or philosophical libertarians, our whole purpose is pushing individual responsibility and liberty. So if Adam does this, and it does end badly, I don't think that I know they'll try to spin it to hurt the liberty movement and the Ron Paul Republicans, but I don't think that that their argument will hold water against the fact that Adam's responsibility will be his own in this. But just to go off subject, because I was talking to you earlier before you called in, and you were saying that you had some pretty nasty things to say about Paul Ryan, and I wanted to let you get those in real quick before we
listen, like I said, I just moved out of Wisconsin. This whole Paul Ryan thing, I never miss an opportunity to bash this guy. What a phony. What a phony. You know, it's so unfortunate that people like him, because, see, I'm a Republican. I'm not a libertarian, okay? Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of difference there, as you all know.
No, that's fine.
It's terrible that people on our side, on the conservative side, can be so brainwashed. They remind me of these Obama zombies, you know, and
No, continue.
No, I was laughing.
I'll just keep going if you don't stop me. But I'm a girl. What can I say? You know, now we got this immigration thing. Oh my God, it just burns me to no end. This amnesty thing, this weird gay thing. And what's so weird about the gay thing? God, I don't care if people are gay, but Paul Ryan is known for being Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, hardcore Roman Catholic. People are calling for his excommunication out of the church. I don't know anything about being Catholic, but that's, the words that I saw them saying about him. And it's just crazy. The GOP has just gotten so retarded over the past couple of years. And I really blame a lot of it on Reince Priebus from Wisconsin. He's the guy who set this whole Romney-Ryan thing up. And Wisconsin was on the tail end of the primaries. And if Romney hadn't won Wisconsin, he wouldn't have advanced further in the primaries. So, all we heard was Romney's the only guy who can win, and look at how that worked out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let me cut in for a second, just for one little interjection when you were talking about people being zombies. During the election, when they picked, what's his name again? Ryan?
Paul Ryan.
Okay, I want to call him Matt Ryan for some reason. Anyways, when they picked him, somebody looked at me and was like, see, they picked the Tea Party darling. And I laughed right in their face. I said, who in the world are you paying attention to? I was like, this guy, and then I started pointing out the record, and this is where the cognitive dissonance comes in. They're like, he's just, at some point.
He's a nice guy. He comes to all of our events, and he signed this book for me, and he did that, and he's got this budget plan. It's like, has anybody read that? And, I'm in the legal profession. I've been in politics for a long time, and so these bills come out, I read them, like NDAA. I think it was 700 pages long. I read every page of it, and I challenge these people. And it's like, okay, so what part of NDAA did you like? Well, I don't know, but I know that Ron Johnson voted in favor of it. It's like, are you really that stupid? What is wrong with you people? We had this big thing in Wisconsin about voter ID, and it was the same thing. I support voter ID, just not the way that they had it, because there were so many conflicting laws, and the law itself conflicted with state statute. Wisconsin was trying to get rid of the voter fraud, and there is a lot of voter fraud. We just can't prove it because it's nearly impossible to prove. But one of the existing statutes in Wisconsin was that if you were in the state as a temporary resident, like a student or a teacher or whatever, anything other than military, because, they can vote anywhere, that you're not allowed to vote in the elections in the state of Wisconsin. I think a lot of states are like that. So what would happen is if I lived in Illinois and I went up to Wisconsin to go to school, I would have to do an absentee ballot in Illinois. I would not be allowed to vote in Wisconsin. However, since they did that voter ID law, what they actually ended up doing, which made it 10 times worse, this is how stupid Republicans can be, they actually had to start allowing college IDs as one of the IDs because they were being sued for discrimination, all this stuff. And so now here you go. You know how all these college people are going to vote. They're not going to vote conservative. They rarely do. And so with them trying to put these bad laws out instead of doing it the right way, they made it 10 times worse. So this is what you deal with in Wisconsin. And the thing that's relevant about this is that Reince Priebus was the state GOP director. Now he's a national GOP guy. And that's where you get Paul Ryan. You got people like Senator Ron Johnson. Those two guys are like the king of the Tea Party over there. And I think a lot of Wisconsin politics kind of carries over on a national level because of the high profile of people from that state. So I'm still paying really close attention to what's going on over there. I think we all should because they're doing a lot of stuff now. It's a little bit controversial, and they're trying to push it nationwide.
Yeah. Well, I try to stay informed about local politics all across the United States because, honestly, I think that's where we can make the most change in the shrinking of government is through local politics. And then, and then we can move on to the federal and try to help shrink that. And then, of course, me, I'm a philosophical voluntarist, so I would love to see, no government at all. But I also understand that shrinking the government has to happen first. Okay.
Right.
So I try to be pragmatic about it. But, there's all kinds of weird things going on. Like Arizona, I believe it was Arizona, the governor just vetoed making gold.
The gold and silver thing?
Yeah,
that was
legal
kind of
tender.
Unexpected, wasn't it?
I thought that was
strange.
for sure. I would think that would be a smart economic move as a governor. But, and so I don't discredit politics. I still think politics are a tool. I just don't think they're the only tool we have available to us. And, and so I don't discredit politics. I know a lot of the people who listen in are straight up voluntarists or anarchists, and I appreciate that too and what they do as far as activism. But I do think that if we want to affect real change, we have to understand it's a multifaceted and front lines in this ideological war. You're going to have to do things on a local level through local politics, and then, of course, things like farmers market and barter and trade, and even Bitcoin is becoming very relevant, and all these things that can help make the government irrelevant in certain areas while we shrink it down. You see what I'm saying? Like they play off of each other.
Yeah, and here's the problem with that. Because a lot of people like me, I don't like government involvement in anything because it's a hindrance and it usually makes you worse off. In my case, I've got 2 kids that are in school, school-age kids. One actually goes to school. The other one, I won't let him anywhere near a public school because when you get these kids, he's a special needs kid, when you get these kids in these schools, they do not allow the parents to be the parent or have any say at all. And I found out as the years went on is that what these schools do, and I think every government agency does this, they're making so much money off of us, off of these kids. Mm-hmm. They're always trying to come up with something else. I think that's the biggest problem with government. There's so much money going around for all of them that they don't want it to end. And I really think that's the biggest problem. If we could just cut off funding for all these stupid things that we're paying for, I think they would stop getting into our lives so much, because I really think that the motivator for them is the money.
Well, it always comes back to the money. I mean, if you want to find out the real reasons for just about any action, both government and corporate, if you follow the money, you'll find the reason. You know. Well, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you so much for calling in.
Oh, sure. It was great talking to you.
I really like.
Hey, I'm also on Blog Talk.
Oh, you are? Go ahead and plug yourself.
Yeah, Monday nights at 10:30 p.m. Central Pacific time on Freedomizer Radio, which is on Blog Talk. So just look for it there.
Lauren, I want you to do me a favor. Contact us in the coming days. We would like for you to do our special reports on legal, NDAA, since you read them and you understand, because I don't understand legal speak.
Okay, no problem.
So if you wouldn't mind, we would like for you to do, special segments here and there whenever there's a new bill being passed or coming out where you could explain the crux of what's going on with them, since you're going to read them anyway.
I'd love to. We'll talk about the internet sales bill.
But we'll also give you the opportunity to plug your show every time as well. So
cool.
Absolutely.
I can live with that.
All
hey,
right.
great. Hey, it was nice talking to you guys, and thanks for having me on.
Definitely. You have
Thank
a good
you,
night.
Lauren.
All right.
All right.
Trip Man strikes again.
Trip was actually wanting to chime in, I believe, about the Adam Kokesh March, and I guess the event that you put together with True Blue.
Okay.
So hold on one second. All right, and let's see what he had to say about it. Trip, you should be live.
Oh, dude. Actually, I was just like chomping at the bit on that girl. It was a good call. I just, What now?
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, but the whole, the mainline Republican deal and the, mostly like, well, I don't want to break any laws. Like, that really rubbed me the wrong way. Like,
oh yeah, well, you're a voluntarian.
She had great things to say, and I hope she continues listening. And I know Freedomizer. If you guys haven't checked them out, they do good work as well. But it's just, man, where are we? what are we going to do? Are we just going to, okay, everybody named Robert and Matthew report to the gallows at high noon tomorrow because 51% have voted that you all must die. At least and I hate to go that extreme right off the rip, but it's like there's unjust laws out there, and if you can't understand that and talking about invisible lines, okay, it's okay on this side of the bridge, but it's not okay on this side of the bridge, and it's a bunch of garbage that I'm not playing patty cake with anybody anymore, and I really don't want to get too mad or amped up right now.
Yeah.
But I'm not playing patty cake and politician games with anybody anymore.
Okay, well, fair enough. But we take the view that we all had to come to the point where we're at in our own time, where we believe civil disobedience is a necessary means, and at some point she might come to that conclusion on her own. We certainly don't want to push that.
Yeah, I don't want to alienate anybody. You know what I mean? Like I really don't. Like I think you guys know me well enough to know that I want to reach across the table kind of guy and be like, look, there's this whole world that we got going on over here, and it's really awesome. Or like, please join the cause, because we don't have a future, and your kids and my kids and nobody else's kids have a future if we don't all kind of start to make that leap,
Well, in her defense, she did admit that the Republican Party is not doing what she expected it to do, and what I think that a lot of us in the liberty movement thought. Very open-minded. I've been her friend for a while. She's a great person, and I like her view on it, because I do still see politics as a tool. I just don't see them as the primary tool that we should be using.
Right.
And that's just...
They're certainly not the only tool.
And God forbid the only tool. That would be ridiculous. But I wanted to ask you, Trip, what do you think about this idea that Matt had, this idea that those who are opposed to Adam Kokesh's rally because they're afraid that it's going to end violently should call the D.C. Police Department and ask for them to make sure that this ends peacefully?
I think you should do that whether you agree or disagree or anything else in between. This is, I said it last night and the night before and the night before that, this is one of those strength in number type situations. So, whatever side of the fence that you want to do, I think support in any way, shape, or form, whether that's calling the D.C. police or walking in the march with a loaded rifle or walking in the march with a loaded camera, that needs to be done. And I think a strength in numbers situation is the best thing that we could hope for, is just overwhelming support across the board. And so, regardless of what your stance on this is, that should be a way to make your contribution. We have our websites and radio shows and, our other individual things that we do. But I feel a lot of people are missing the ball or missing their call to, either donate to certain things or to throw their support and make a phone call. Like, how hard is it to drop $2 on a donation page? How hard is it to blow a phone call in to the D.C. police to say, hey, we're citizens of America and we support this and we're going to be there, and I would really hope that you would escort this march through D.C. and be on the right side of history.
Yeah, well, and not just that. I mean, Matthew made a great point. I mean, the world is going to be watching if and when this goes down.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's important for the image of America itself for the D.C. police not to overreact in this situation.
No. But you know what? That if they do that, the Patriots win. So it's very, that's their line.
I'm a huge fan of Tom Brady.
But fuck Tom Brady and his pretty boy ass. But
Robert didn't even get it because he doesn't even watch football.
But all I'm saying is that that would almost seem too simple. It seems like the most logical thing to people like us. Like who stands to lose from that happening? Honestly, nobody except for the power structure. And if people aren't thinking that that's the way that things are and that we can't do anything about it because we're just regular dudes, we're just our normal citizen selves, that's what, who stands to gain, who stands to lose. And the only thing about this ending the best on our end, the only people that stand to lose is the power structure to say the American people are fighting back peacefully.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I am in full support of the principles and philosophies behind Adams wanting to do this. I truly am. But we're reaching the end of our show here, Trip. I want you to go ahead and plug yourself and anybody else you feel is worthy.
Just LMR, man. It's Wednesday and Sunday nights, 9 to 11 Eastern, and we look forward to having you guys over and take a little bit of heat off of me and everybody else that's working really damn hard just to have live content. So we look forward to having you guys. And once again, I didn't even mean to stay on this long or anything else, but I really cherish our conversations.
Oh, it was great.
Trip, when push comes to shove, and we're on Blog Talk and I get booted off, you saved our ass. So thank you.
All right, no problems, man. You guys be good.
All right, man. You have a good night.
Take care, Trip.
All right, later.
So, Matt, go ahead and plug everybody that is helping push the movement along. I don't know if you've been plugging the the Libertarian Party, but I definitely want to plug them. Please get involved in them. And like people like Lauren, who just called, if you are a liberty-minded Republican, I will not shun you. If you're pushing for freedom, even in the smallest little bit of ways, you have my support. Go ahead, Matt.
I'll shun you. Status. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I'd like to thank Trip for joining us tonight from Trip NWO Fighter Show, Trip Pugh from Liberty Movement Radio. Also, they feature Adam vs. the Man's podcast replays. Also, who just recently joined them, We Are Not Cattle with Jake Counts. I'd also like to thank the Houston Free Thinkers, Derek Bros, and his activism. Peace News Now, Derek J. Freeman. Thank you for giving us our news at the first segment of our show. Cerebral Industrial Complex with Josh Wiley. We Are Change with Luke Radowski. Panda, the People Against the National Defense Authorization Act with Dan Johnson. 1787 Network with Alex Schnichter. Revolution on a Recliner with John Conrad and Rob Casterling. ShinyBadges.com with Davey Barker. If you want to buy some or order some for your organization, he's the man to talk to. That's ShinyBadges.com. And last but not least, our weatherman, Suspicious Observer. Thank you again for listening tonight, folks.
All right, we're going to end this one out with Pennywise Revolution.
Yeah. Hey, can I sing along?